So we're going to show you how to do some line work with FieldGenius. I've taped some points on the floor so I can show you how you would pick up the edges of a road and a building and an arc. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our side shot mode and what we have set, and I currently have it set to side shot. We're going to choose a description. Let's type in E, and then we're going to pretend we're shooting the edge of asphalt. And you can see our line toggle is on. And what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the first point on the line. So this is the first edge. Some things to note. On our active lines list, you'll see it says start line here. And we're going to take our measurement. And what FieldGenius will do is it'll use the code for the point, which is edge of asphalt. And it'll give it a group code of 1. So that's this is the line for the first edge of the road. We're going to shoot a center line now. And I want to start a new line. And you do that in FieldGenius just by turning the line toggle off and then back on. And you'll see it says start line. And now we're going to shoot the center line. And store that. And we're going to shoot the other edge of the road. So I just typed E as a shortcut to get to the code. And we're going to sight the other edge. And I'm just using reflectless mode on my total station here. And so at this point we've measured 3 points. And when you're using the standard side shot mode, you'll always see the store point screen appear, which allows you to mainly change the description or add a note or change the prism height if you need to. And if we zoom in here, you can see there's our 3 points for the road. The blue X, what that indicates to the user, is that wherever your next shot is, it'll be connected to that point that has the blue X. So I'm going to switch to a different side shot mode here called Side Shot Auto. And what that mode does is it won't prompt you for a description or let you change anything after the shot is taken. So when you're pretty confident that you're not going to need to edit your shots after they've been taken, it's more efficient to use the Side Shot Auto mode. So we're going to walk up the road, continue shooting the second edge. And you'll see that the group code that FieldGenius is using here is called Edge 2. And we're going to walk to the center line now. But now I want to work on the center line. And to do that, what you can do is go to the figure list and just choose the center line. Press OK. You'll see the blue X is now on point number 4. And so what that tells us is that the next shot we shoot or remake is going to be connected to that point. As you can see here. Now we're going to continue with edge of asphalt, line 1. So that's the first edge. And as you can see here, it's quite easy to do line work with FieldGenius. You don't have to embed codes in your description to do line work. You just do it by using toggles. Now before I start the arc here, there's actually a building out here that I want to shoot. And so I'm going to type B, L, D, G. I don't actually have a building code. FieldGenius knows that and is asking me if I want to include that in the AutoMap library. And I'm going to press yes. And I want to actually create some line work for that code. So we're going to start a line. And we're going to shoot the 4 corners. Now one thing you can do to help you center your shot in the middle of your screen is you can enable this button here. And that's called the center shot mode. And so now when we take this shot, you'll see that FieldGenius will automatically pan and center the shot on the screen. So let's just continue shooting the four corners here. And this is actually just a building pad. It's not a building with walls. We're going to shoot the fourth point. And to close back to the start, you don't need to take another shot there. All you can do is just click on the figure and use this icon here to close it. Now before I do that, I want to go back to the figure list. And you see we've got 4 figures here that we're working on. And when you have a figure that's currently in use, we call that an active figure. So that means you can always continue adding line work or new line segments to that figure. Now just take a note here and let's see that there is a figure here called building. So if we click on this and we close it, it'll ask us if we want to change the status to finished. And when we do that, you'll see the building gets closed off. And when you go into your line list, you're back down to 3 lines. That figure called building is now removed from the list. And really it's just hidden because you can always show all the figures in your project at any time by disabling this button. So now we want to continue shooting the arc going around here. And we need to make this figure current. Now we could go do it through the figure list, or I can just click on the figure and press this icon here, which makes it current. And you'll see there's our blue X. So we're going to take our shot. What we're doing now is we're shooting the midpoint of the arc, especially just a 3-point arc going around here. So this is when you can use the 3-point arc button. So you enable it, sight the halfway point on the arc, and measure. And you'll see FieldGenius switches back to line because it's making an assumption that you're doing a 3-point arc and you've shot the end. And I forgot to move the instrument. And you'll see here we've got a mistake. Basically it's done a circle. So to fix that, you can undo your last shot by using the delete last saved point. And that arc has been removed. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick my line, make it current. We're going to use the pencil command and I'm going to connect points. We're going to do an arc 3 points. And actually before I do this, what I'm going to do is just shoot the 3rd point on the arc here, which is at the end. First. So what I want to demonstrate here is that if you do make a mistake, and I'm going to turn off the descriptions here, you can also manually draw in the line work. So we're going to pencil it in, connect points, 3 point. So the arc point is point 13, closes on 15, and you'll see the arc's been drawn in there for us. Now if we continue this arc for the center line, we're going to make it current. This time I won't make a mistake, so we're going to shoot the halfway point. Toggle on that. Switch back to the line, and we're going to shoot the end point of that arc. There you go. And to work on this last figure, we'll make that current. Shoot the halfway point. And then we'll shoot the end. So as you can see, doing line work is quite simple. You just do your line work by enabling these three toggles, and you can switch between your lines by either just clicking on them or using the figure list. And all of this line work is tied into your AutoMap library, and if you customize it, so if we customize the code here for edge of asphalt, and maybe the lines, we want them to be magenta, we can do that. And you'll see it's already got a layer here specified for them. And for the building, perhaps we want the color to be red. And the symbol size, we would like it to be 5. You'll see now we've got bigger symbols on the points for the building. It's red. The road is now magenta. And if you wanted to hide any of these lines or points, you do that through the layer manager. And it'll only show you layers for lines and points that are actually available or actually in the map. So for the road asphalt here, if we turn that off, you're going to see the points and the line work for that description has been turned off in the map for us. And just as easily, you can turn it back on. And that's an overview of doing line work with FieldGenius. And one more thing, all of this line work you create, you can always pick on it, info it. In this case here, this is giving us the area and the perimeter. Again, I'm just shooting points near my desk, so that's why the area here is so small. And same thing with a line, maybe between 5 and 6 here, if you info that. You'll see the distance here is 0.285, so very tiny. Basically, I'm doing a mini survey